Yeah.
Yeah, it started, ma'am. Meera, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, you can start, ma'am. Thank you
Yeah.
so much, madam, for accepting. Thank you.
My Atma Vandan to Pitamaha Patriji, Prabodh Garu, and all dear masters who are assembled here. Pranams to everyone. So, welcome to day 9 of Atma Deepo Bhava. And today, the master who has come here to share her wisdom with us is none other than our dear Bharati ma'am, who every day holds this sacred space for all of us, an unconditional space for all of us. To all the masters who are coming here, they can share their wisdom with us. We can all ask our questions. She's holding the sacred space. And she has a very simple introduction for her. Friends, being simple is always very natural. And whatever is natural is always aligned with the divine. So, Bharti ma'am is coming from Frisco. She lives in Frisco, Dallas. And she's in the journey of purification of self and trying to be in the path of all the masters. And she enjoys living life one moment at a time and doing only what is needed in the moment as much as possible. So that is the master that we have today to share her wisdom. Welcome, ma'am, on behalf of everyone who have assembled here. And thank you.
Thank you so much for your divine introduction. Namaskars to my dear masters, my dear friends, and my dear gods. So, to begin with, my humble salutations to Pitamaha Patriji, Prabodh Masterji, and all the seen and unseen masters, and to all the viewer gods. So, today, my topic is levels of consciousness. So, since we are about to begin with the introduction and understanding of this very deep ocean called as consciousness, let us try to connect with that consciousness with 1 minute meditation. Please close your eyes relaxedly with a beautiful smile on your faces. Let us appreciate this moment and connect to the consciousness of all the masters. We seek the grace of the masters, the grace of the consciousness to understand at this moment. We dedicate our time sincerely and pay complete attention to this subject at this moment. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So let us begin. So to begin with, what is this consciousness? How can we define consciousness? So I talked on this subject for 30 minutes before. And so I was so pretty confident that I could do justice for this subject. But as I see, the time assigned for us is 1 hour for knowledge sharing. I was trying to gather more theory to share with beginners as well as even advanced people also should be able to enjoy. So I was thinking how to introduce this ocean of a subject to the beginners, wherein I myself trying to figure out this subject more clearly. So I tried to explore more and more to contain the material which is very much required and which doesn't complicate our understanding and confuse us. So I have put my sincere efforts not to confuse you all, to keep this subject to the simplest at the same time, which should help us to progress in this subject. So if you find there's a popular question on Google, 5 unsolved philosophical questions. If we see them, so we come across these 5 questions are very much interesting. Do we really have free will? Who am I? Can we know anything at all? What is death? And what would global justice look like? So why are these regarded as most mysterious unsolved questions? Is because this is very subjective. Every person, again, though we feel that we have understood who am I, again we find a question mark one fine day. So for example, we all feel that we have a free will. This is free country. I have the freedom. All freedom is mine. We do feel, but sometimes we see that we are not able to execute some simple things. For example, if I feel I shouldn't drink tea, it's my free will, right? It's my choice, right? I should be able to stop. I should be able to do this at will, right? Free will means my willpower should be able to easily executable. But so many times we do feel helpless. So such questions. And what is death actually? Physical death, yes, we understand. This physical body is dying. But what is this physical body dying means? We can see doctors can declare the body as death when the breathing stops and the physical functioning stops. But we see as a person who have talked to me, for example, I'm talking to you, when I die, what's happening? The body that spoke to you is very much in front of you, even as a dead body. But what is that which is making a difference between the dead body and the living body? So something is missing, but we cannot able to see with the eyes, with the senses, right? Now I'm talking, the living body is talking, whereas the dead body is not talking. So what does that mean? The body is not talking. There is some energy in the body that is responsible for this talking. So something else is using this body to communicate, and something else means this body is using some energy to use the senses also, right? So, or else we can say that Atman or soul using some energy to experience this earth. So what is that? So the very simplest definition I can tell you is the dead body plus that some essence means myself. That we can term as either means Atman is specific to the body, and consciousness is the one which is responsible for the whole existence, living and non-living alike. The consciousness is responsible for the existence of the whole universe, sun, moon, and whatever you see, planetary, everything. So this is the closest definition I could come. And for our discussion perspective, what is the consciousness we are trying to discuss is, we are not trying to understand that supreme consciousness, that is the whole world, that we are not trying to understand that supreme consciousness. There is one more definition of consciousness. For example, um, every person differs by his perception and thought process, right? So that thought process, why is it different? Is it depending upon the level of consciousness from person to person? We are trying to, this we can define as the mind of this body, which is when the consciousness comes in touch with the brain, then it gives rise to this mind. So this mind is at different levels. If it is when it is newly coming into existence, it has its own definitions, like means depending upon the environment, the mind is picking up something, right? That state of mind, we are calling it as consciousness. And today we are discussing that consciousness. So just for example, to understand conscious means what is described in Mandukya Upanishads is, means when the body is sleeping, dream state and wakeful state, the body is in different state, right? So that time what we are saying is the mind is in sleeping, mind sleep, mind dreams, right? And then but the consciousness which is there, that is permanent consciousness, that we are not touching. We are now referring to the consciousness of the mind only. So that definition is, consciousness at its simplest term is awareness of internal and external existence. So because the definitions are so many, so this subject is very much different from each person's perspective. If you ask somebody, they will give you a different definition. So for example, a very famous person, Franz Mesmer. So he believed in some kind of healing. He was a healer. Initially, he thought that he was healing people with the magnet. So one point of time, it so happened that that magnet was not charged properly. So since he didn't have the magnet to conduct the healing, he just used some stick to heal. And to his amazement, the patients were healed with magnet also. And now just he is doing the same movement with the stick, still people were healed. And at one point of time, when he did not find that stick, he just moved his hand like this and people were healed. So he had a question mark there. So what is that which healed? He concluded that I am healing the people. But he couldn't find out that the patient is being healed because of the faith of the patient. The patient had faith in him, so they were healing. So like that, even there are unanswered questions, right? Like astral healing. So we have seen in so many pyramid channel experiences, people who were diagnosed with so many serious issues, and they were seriously advised to take some operation. Some people are healed by astral healing without any external surgery. So how can we answer that? So I have seen one experience in vegetarian meditation channel VMC. In that, one lady, she experienced a healing which would cost her in normal hospitals 1 crore rupees. She was just healed by this astral healing. So there are certain things happening in this consciousness which cannot have a direct explanations. So today we are trying to take one such subject, but Patriji sir has given a kind of understanding which is very much fits into our understanding. So let us see that definition. What is this consciousness? Means when a person is existing at Mooladhara level of consciousness, it means the person very much acts like survival consciousness only. Means he is bothered only about his physical existence. Means to get his food needs met, food, clothing, shelter. He is only bothered about only these things. As long as they are met, he is fine. So this is the survival consciousness. Whatever, like he is, whenever he gets angry, he just reacts. And then he tries to grab whenever he is hungry, sometimes if he doesn't get. So that level of consciousness is called as Mooladhara consciousness. Here we can also give examples like there are militants, and some incidents we see rape and all, right? So those people are at this only survival consciousness. And the next level of consciousness in people is Swadhisthana consciousness. So people who are at this level of consciousness, they have this one of man consciousness. Means they are very much involved in this life process, like they have this temporary roles, and they always go behind ego satisfactions. So he has this competition feeling, like he wants to compete with others. If somebody has one car, he wants to have two cars. If somebody has some properties, he wants to have more property. Now he is comparing at others and he wants to have more of those things. That kind of consciousness is Swadhisthana consciousness. Then after this, some people are at a different level, Manipuraka consciousness. Here we can see most of the entrepreneurs. Like this consciousness, Patriji sir also says is showing off consciousness. Here, high achievers come. And this will also say as frustration consciousness, because here people, though they have achieved so much, again they may be restless, right? Why do the people achieve? Because they believe that that is going to give them complete satisfaction, but it is ending up into endless cycles. So these people also believe that they run the show. So they use control over the people around them. Means sometimes people under them who are working for them, if they are naturally working in a good pattern with them, then they are fine. If people are not working at according to them how they want, then they use force to make the people do what they want to do. So they don't respect the free will of others. So they are just doing what they feel as important for them. They are not concerned about others' joy, others' natural existence. So all these people who fall under Mooladhara, Swadhisthana and Manipuraka consciousness, they have this fear-based approach to life. They have this victim consciousness. Means since they are body conscious and ego consciousness, here we can say as this sympathetic nervous system is more active. What is this sympathetic nervous system? Is when this system is more active, the heart rate is more for them, because they are experiencing restlessness. So they always blame others for their situations. Whatever situations they are encountering, they just directly blame somebody else. When they are unhappy, they say, because of that person, this is happening to me. And because of that person, I am suffering in life. So they are in that, they are more like in complaint mode and judgment mode. Like that means they cannot adjust to their environment because of their victim-based and fear-based approach to life. So after this Manipuraka consciousness, then since the people have, means after experiencing so much and then still they are restlessness, so sometimes they can move on to Anahata consciousness. Means at Anahata level, they are sincerely trying to seek the truth of life. So here they become a spiritual seeker. They ask for peace in life. So they are gradually coming out of this victim consciousness. They stop blaming and take responsibility for their own state of existence. So here they are learning to let go, and they are trying to accept everything. Means they are letting go of the resistance also. So now they are understanding we are all part of one huge consciousness, and so they respect others' free will also. So here they don't use this force to get their work done. Here they empower others to do the work. So empower, they are using power as a mode of getting the work done. So after this state of consciousness, next is Vishuddha consciousness. So here after that sincere spiritual seeker in the anahata stage, now they have become more serious meditators. So now others' welfare becomes their priority. They have that sense of oneness, and compassion is the way of their life. So they constantly wish best for the society, best for their community, wishing best for everyone. They are in the state that there is no me or you. By helping you, I am helping myself. That kind of consciousness, these people lifestyle becomes like that. So next, after this, they become like, come into Agnya stage, wherein they become now witness consciousness. So they start experiencing this life as a cosmic self. They are now just witnessing. What is this witness consciousness means? For them, there is nothing like good or bad. So they come into that kind of consciousness. Whatever is happening, they just watch. That's it. So here in the Vishuddha and Agnya Chakra level of consciousness, they have this positive acceptance. They are positive, they are accepting everything, and very truthful approach. Because of that, here parasympathetic nervous system is more active. So for people who are in Vishuddha and Agnya, their heart rate is very much relaxed, and there is always peace in their mind. They have come beyond the mind level. So next, after this, they are coming into Sahasra consciousness. What is Sahasra consciousness means? They are always consciously smiling. Whatever happens, even death also, they can sometimes take it very easy. That always, like whatever comes, whether it is happiness or sadness, somebody is appreciating them or they are demotivating them. They are not the both the state. They are always in this equanimous state. So next is after Sahasrar, the next level is 8th level, wherein those conscious, the 8th level conscious people are become like laughing Buddha. So this whole creation, this is all a divine play for them, or it has become a joke. Life is a joke for them, or it is just a divine play. Means at this level, they see completely that everybody is same for them, whether it is Buddha or the Angulimal, one who is murdering. So they are also same for them. So to give a best example is Buddha. He used to see everybody the same, right? So let us see an example of people who have experienced the different levels of consciousness, and they have moved on from lowest level of consciousness to high level of consciousness. Because for some people, I have heard one of them, he is Dr. Michael Newton. In that, when he is doing this uh, hypnotherapy, he actually, this Dr. Michael Newton doesn't believe in the past lives. But when he had to the therapy a patient in the therapy session, that lady starts blabbering about something else which is nowhere related to this life. So the first time Dr. Michael Newton gets to experience through her patient that people are coming from so many lives, back life. So this is what it is like. From that patient, he came to know that that patient is coming back to this world 500 times, lifetimes. She's again reincarnating, just to learn a simple lesson to overcome her jealousy. So she couldn't overcome her jealousy, so she's reincarnating. So it is not like she is bad now. Means people who are at higher level of consciousness, now they understand that So we are just coming here. So some people study first grade 5 times, right? So is it bad? It is nothing like that. Some people love to spend more time in their 10th grade. They are not satisfied. So it is just the choice of the individual to come back to learn lessons. So this is why we keep coming back. It depends upon our own desires and decisions. So depending upon that, how are our desires differing? Depending upon our levels of consciousness again. Say, for example, I think everybody knows this story of Angulimal. For those who are not familiar with Angulimal, uh, I will tell this story a little bit in a clear way. Angulimal is kind of cannibal kind of nature. He lives in a forest and he's killing people, whoever is crossing the forest. He lived at the time of Buddha. So whoever is crossing the forest, he used to kill them. So he's totally in this survival. Something he has to thinking, something he's just killing people. So we can say him as in the survival consciousness. So whomever he is killing, he used to take their thumb and put them in the form of garland. So like that, he had many thumbs. Means those many people he killed. So once Buddha had to cross that forest, so people are coming and advising Buddha not to go across that forest because of Angulimal. But Buddha, as for his nature, he is fearless. So he is crossing that forest. And this Angulimal is watching Buddha. And suddenly he comes in front of Buddha and says, I will kill you. Then Buddha is just that same kindness. He is seeing Angulimal. At that time, Angulimal couldn't bear his kindness in the eyes. So he suddenly falls at his feet. I have never seen a person who is fearless in the face of death. So he is requesting Buddha, can he accept Angulimal as a disciple for him? So Buddha says, yes, definitely. And then he gives special instructions to Angulimal, and later on he does sadhana, and in one single life he becomes a arihant. Means he is liberated in that same life. So in a one single life, Angulimal did cleared every kind of consciousness and he attained that supreme absolute self. He became an arihant later. I don't think absolute self, something like arihant, they say he became an arihant in that life. Say means he is like beyond like kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsara. He could easily cross those boundaries. So again, with this example, we will see why every person is still under different levels of consciousness after understanding this and how we can move to higher levels of consciousness. For example, when our children are angry, we say, right, don't get angry, but we cannot say them to stop getting angry because it's not in their control. As we discussed first, like free will, like means so many times I don't want to drink tea, but I end up drinking tea, right? So we are not masters of certain things. So how to master this self and how we can see, make people, help people to move to the higher levels of consciousness, and what is that in day-to-day life that is keeping us at low levels of consciousness. So David Hawking, he is a psychiatrist, no, uh, he's a psychotherapist. So he has given a wonderful view on this consciousness, which can be practically useful for everybody. He has written so many books. He is born enlightened being, And he has had a very wonderful way of explaining this levels of consciousness. And how did he do that? So his approach is, I researched so much in Google, but I couldn't get the exact way how he could do. He has measured so many, around 25 lakh people, he says, in this kinesiology method, technology. Using that technology, he has measured so many, and so many other methods also he has used to calibrate the levels of consciousness in people depending upon the frequency he could find in the laboratory. And he also had some extra sensory perception, or whatever you can call. He, combining that with lab results, he could do that. So let me share with you all that screen. So are you able to see the screen, the pyramid structure? So he is wonderfully given a beautiful explanation on various qualities of people. And based upon the qualities we have, we ourselves can access where we lie under the levels of consciousness, and we ourselves can work on ourselves to move higher. So later on we'll understand, but basically now we'll see what are the definite day-to-day qualities that we see and experience within ourselves, and at what level it is coming in this scale of consciousness. For example, the very lowest level is 0, like the pyramid is coming like this, right? That 0 is the consciousness of a dead person. So the immediate next is 20, which is when the level of consciousness, according to David Hawkins, when he says at 20, means the shame. If a person is experiencing shame in himself, that shame is putting into at level 20, because the person who is basically experiencing shame is, his emotional state is in humiliation state, and he is viewing the life, his life, as miserable. Whatever is happening in his life, if he is feeling so much miserable, and he is just hating God, he is despising God, like that. And whoever is experiencing shame, sometimes we unknowingly, while parenting, we ask kids to, aren't you ashamed of yourself, we say, right? Now after learning this, we will never use that word as shame on anybody for that matter, because it is very low level in consciousness. So next comes 30, that is guilt. So even so many people have experience guilt, right? So we feel that we are doing good thing by experiencing guilt, but we are not understanding that we are so much damaging ourselves, and we are falling at very low level in the consciousness. So here I heard an incident happening here, wherein a lady who left her child in a daycare, and in the daycare the child died because of something, the carelessness of the nanny. So this lady started so much spending her whole life in that guilt, that she is responsible for the death of her child. So this guilt, she never understood, and she became so miserable of herself. And then later on, how do we help people who are in guilty? Means we cannot directly ask them to, okay, no, you no need of feeling guilty, we cannot tell to them, because it's not in their hands to overcome guilty. How can we help people who are in guilty consciousness? Is by only through meditation and knowledge sessions, swadhyaya, introspection, or affirmations. Only through that we can help a person who is guilt. So meditation is a very powerful technique which will help in elevating our level of consciousness. So then the people who have apathy, they are calibrated a little bit 50, at the level of 50, because they are experiencing despair most of the time, and they feel hopeless in their life, and they're always continuously condemning the God. So next is grief. Means some people who are grieving, right? That grief, and they take unknowingly, the mind keeps you in grief, making you feel good. You all means the people who are in grief, they're always constantly talking about their loss. So because of that, their levels, they vibrate at a very low frequencies. So this is happening. So again, we cannot directly help them. And next is fear. Fear is calibrated at 100. So sometimes fear is useful in the survival mechanism, right? So it is given a little bit higher value. But again, their emotional state is always under anxiety, and they are always continuously frightened. And they are in the withdrawal mode. Because of their fear, they just don't want to do things. And then comes desire, which is craving, but still it is calibrated at 125, because everything is a desire, right? Sometimes a person may desire for good things. So it is slightly, now people are improving. They may desire for a better life, like that. So now they are becoming conscious. Their level of consciousness is improving now. So now they are like, they are still experiencing disappointment when their desires are not fulfilled. So when you have a desire, though it may be like, because they experience disappointment, they are still, there are every chances of falling down in this level. So again, they are enslaved in their desires. Next comes anger. Anger is at 150, and because of they nourish that anger, they keep hating people, and they are very much like antagonistic, and they are very much like, they want to take revenge over others, and they are always under aggression mode. Next comes the pride level. Why is pride given more value? Because sometimes we are pride of means we are proud of our country, we are proud of our culture. It is good for the individual. So we are slowly coming to better and better in the level of consciousness, but their emotional state is still, they are scorning the society and all. Because I am means I am proud of my culture, and I scorn some other culture. Because of that identification, we are we are falling into lower levels again. So they are very much like demanding and indifferent, depends on that. Next is courage. From courage, man, this is a very good state to be in, because see, till pride, till 175, it is very much like a survival paradigm. Now from courage, you move on higher in the level of consciousness. So courage is 200, wherein his emotional status means he is using affirmations. I'll achieve this, I will achieve that, I will move the mountains, I will cross. Means they are very much into exploring life courageously. And sometimes they stand for their country. They are willing to sacrifice themselves because they are courageous. So they are like more empowered kind of personalities. Then comes neutrality. So now they start trusting the life process. So they are now coming into satisfactory mode. Then comes willingness. If I am having willingness, it means uh, I am at the level of 310. And optimism. And my dear masters, one important point here is, it's not so easy, means to attain 1 point. David Hawkins says that here every point to go to raise ourselves by one single point, it is not like just one plus plus. It is not happening that way. It is like it takes the frequencies of power of, they are logarithmic in nature. So that is why he says like it, in when you see the scale, it just says like, oh okay, from shame to guilt, it's only 10 points. Oh okay, we can move up. It's not like that. It requires lot of effort from the person to move higher in their level of consciousness. So as you see in this screen itself, so when you are in the willingness mode, you are optimistic and hopeful for life, and you are inspiring, and you have good intentions. And then comes reasoning, you are understanding, more meaningful, and you have wise approach for the God. And then comes after this, we are shifting into spiritual paradigm. Now you have love for the existence. So this is very high, he says. So many people fall under this, spiritual persons fall under this at this stage. So they have reverence from their people around. So the people want to be around them. So they, because they are very much like they have the reverence for nature, and they have that they are very much sincere in their approach of life. And next comes joy. Joy is means they are love as well as joy combined. They are again at a very higher level. They are very much like their emotional status is very much like serene. They have complete view of life, and they experience oneness with God also. So from here comes like it is like higher and higher, it's moving, like we need to make lot of conscious efforts also. Like then comes who are experiencing love, joy and peace also along that. Naturally they are in the blissful state, so everything is perfect for them according to the life viewpoint of view. So they are like all being as oneness they experience, and God is, all beings are like God for them. Whomever they see others, they look at them as God themselves, and they are having that their experience of life is, or their process is illumination process also. So from 700 onwards, it is the enlightenment scale in the consciousness level. It is said that uh, Buddha was at 1000. Buddha, Jesus Christ, Lord Krishna, they were at 1000. So still we have 10 minutes left, so we can discuss further. So this planetary self, a person with 540 score on consciousness, we can know the details of this here. Like they have strong feeling of oneness. Their all is connected. Their inner wise, they feel the complete self. They are always natural joy from within. So level of spiritual, this is the level of spiritual healers, light workers and healers fall into this 540 category, and they are called as planetary self. They have become, love has become unconditional for them. They are always in compassion and overcoming. They have all overcome the pain of separation. Now they more, life and death is one for them. They don't bother about death also. So they have integrated the divine willpower of planetary consciousness. Okay, expanded feeling of responsibility for everyone. So next, a person with 600, they have experienced this galactic self. They have this communication with higher dimensional entities, including spirit guides, ascended masters, archangels. Then they encourage and speed up the accession process, and usually they have latent psychic abilities also they have. So the next is 700. It is an enlightenment scale, varies from 700 to 1000. So a person with 700 score is called as universal self. So they have this realization of awareness as oneself. Awareness now becomes the fundamental reality beyond the cosmic and non-dual space. At this stage, an enlightened person is able to change their perceptions. Universal self, meaning that the previous galactic self is now expanded to encompass the whole universe at large. So enlightenment resulting in their brain nervous system coherency. So transcendence of objectivity and the pure subject. So then next one is supracausal self. It is called a supracausal self. These people have 850. So These people are very rare nowadays. The light of full consciousness is now shining clearly like diamond or a crystal as the absolute self becomes visible, along with the seed of the mind. Here, means they are experiencing the full consciousness self, but still there is a little bit of I in them. So that is why they are at the 850. They are calibrated at 850. So the famous I thought becomes visible, coined by the greatest sage, Sri Ramana Maharshi. So the next, whoever is 1000, they have become the absolute self. So Angulimal story I have discussed. And we have also, just for example sake, we can consider Ramayana for example, wherein Ravana can be at very like survival mode, wherein he is trying to snatch away and he's in the fight mode, flight or fight mode, like. And next we can see as Kumbhakarna, wherein he is at the next level of consciousness, like only sleep, food, eat and sleep, eat and sleep. He's not harming anybody. Again, whereas Vibhishna, he is coming at a next level of consciousness, whereas now he is thinking of like thinking for the benefit of other people. And then one more enlightened being as Rama, who has become the absolute self. So again, I would like to state the example of Valmiki Maharshi. Valmiki Maharshi, to begin in that life, he was a thief, but he became Maharshi. How did he became Maharshi? He did so much of conscious efforts. So with conscious efforts, we can move up in the ladder of consciousness again. So means if we did, how we can take off the qualities, lower qualities of lower consciousness is, we have to put conscious efforts. We have to gain that swadhyaya and sajjana sangatya, and then our own personal efforts. We need to meditate and find the self introspection and contemplation, and we need to meditate on continuous hours. Like for us, Gudakesha is the best example. By doing Gudakesha, we are practicing complete awareness and we are mastering our subconscious mind. And then as a result, daytime we are able to master our own lower qualities like anger, irritation, everything. And now we are moving on to oneness state, slowly trying to move on to oneness state. So with this, I can take a few questions. Any questions? Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hello, ma'am. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir.
See, we are meditating. Okay, we are meditating, and at times we go through some of the other aspects as well. Say, for example, we feel more courage, and at times we fear too, and at times we feel anger. But at the same time, we have the realization of one consciousness, and we have the compassion for other fellow creatures and whatnot. So, say that how we can assess ourselves if we traverse to an extent of the other aspects as well. Say, for example, a little fear or a little anger, and also on the higher, say, for example, continuing meditation for years together. So, there is some ambiguity. So, can you throw some light here? Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, considering the level that you are, it is just they are traces, they are the traces, right? Now you make conscious efforts and one fine day you will overcome the traces. It's very easy, sir. Because as you say, you are already meditating and you are experiencing higher aspects of it, right? So you don't apply that mind, and you don't be self-judgmental now. If you judge like that, then we become at our consciousness tends to move lower. So don't judge, you appreciate yourself for meditating. then self-appreciation, self-acceptance, self-love will continuously move, because everybody experiences the same thing, right? So like I told you example of Valmiki Maharshi, he was a thief, from that he moved to that state, right? So means we need to make a continuous effort, and you shouldn't be bothering about anger and fear, because they are the in last previous conditioning. We are still working on removing all our conditioning. So don't bother about those previous conditioning. Just to focus on what all positive things you are experiencing. You appreciate yourself. Our Gudakesha principle says, right? Anando Brahma. What is Anando Brahma? You are in the Brahman consciousness when you are in joyful state. So you need to try to maintain. You need to work on maintaining that joyful state. When you maintain continuous state of joy, that is the enlightenment stage. So you just if it happens, it is traces. Don't bother. See, we are children. When you learn to walk, when you learn to do skateboarding or skiing, initially we fall, right? But when we keep on putting our efforts, then when you learned walking, you never remember, right?
Got it, ma'am. Got
Hopefully,
it. Got it. Got it. Perfect.
thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks a
Wonderful
lot.
question.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Yeah.
Any other questions? So no questions. I am happy, because this was a very deep subject. And I would like to, before starting, I wanted to make this a disclaimer actually. I am also a sincere seeker, as introduced by Miss Meera, Master Meera. So I am also still in the process of seeking. So whatever wisdom you found in this session, it is coming from all the masters, higher masters. And if you see any loopholes or something is not fitting in your logic, that is coming from my ignorance, masters. So please forgive me for my ignorances. If you find, if you have found any wisdom, it is coming from higher masters. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. The thing which he told, the weakness keeps on, because while doing this meditation and talking, hearing your this kind of speeches, we are in positive energy. But deep down lying, there is something lying down below which arises, wakens up suddenly when situation comes. So that is where we have to be totally conscious of our actions, deeds, and speech. Then it can be altered.
Now that you are in this track, now that you have heard of Gudakesha term, Gudakesha is a very high term to hear in this lifetime. It just means whoever is in this session, they are in the path of sadhana from their previous lives. It is their conscious choice. And we also discussed about we create our reality, right? So the situations you are encountering, it is just to practice. Unless and until you practice with that real time situations, how can you say you have mastered? So that is a wonderful opportunity. Welcome all opportunities. If
Yes,
sometimes you failed, appreciate because you tried.
very true.
So only self appreciation, self acceptance, and self love will take you to the higher states. So don't worry about the failures. They are good. They are marking again and again, again and again. You keep on doing one. Don't even look at those. Come into the present moment. Right now you're talking to me. So celebrate your enlightenment all the time. Sometimes I wake up late, but I make a conscious choice. I will not think of that moment. Now I am awake, so I'll start celebrating. Constant smile on your face, Divya Mangala Drishti, and bliss in the heart, Brahmananda in heart. So only these will take. Whatever is happening, let them happen, but don't bother about those things. We have come to enjoy. Again, they are also beautiful things to enjoy. Just an experience. We say, right, when you are at the high, this whole thing, whatever is happening, there is nothing good or bad. And again, I'll tell you the positive aspect of these negative things you are experiencing. Sometimes you become judgmental, sometimes you are angry. Why these things happen, because you shouldn't judge others. Others are also, because the thing is, all this effort is for the self. It is not to make us egoistic for others. We shouldn't become too egoistic when we see others getting angry, when we see others being judgmental. At that time, enlightened being, he accepts them. He is not judging others. So to make you to that level, consciousness is giving you an experience of being judgmental, being fear, experiencing guilt, so that these things are all natural. So according to consciousness, there is no, Buddha is not superior, and one who is at 20 who is experiencing shame, they are not different according to the eyes of consciousness. It is just like there is no discrimination between people. Somebody is studying first grade and somebody is at the PhD level. So can you say without first grade you came to PhD? First grade is very important. So it is just phases. Phases. There is nothing good or bad here. So whenever these things are happening in yourself, learn to understand that you have to accept joyfully. Enjoy the experience. Everything is an experience here. You have come to experience these things. Yes. Acceptance is the best. Acceptance is a quality which will get you to enlightenment, right? So you should accept the anger within you. Without, when you don't accept the anger within you, how can you accept anger in others? Absolutely. So you should first accept yourself however you are. I accept my anger, I accept my irritation, I accept my guilt, everything. So thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
So any other questions?
Bharti ma'am,
Yes.
wonderful session. Thank you so much. I just wanted to add something while you were talking. I was remembering the last talk I had with Patri sir. So I asked him, sometimes when I talk, how can I know I'm talking from my ego state or from my soul level? Sometimes when we are spontaneous. So he immediately told me that don't analyze. Just go through that experience, even if it is guilt or blame, it's okay. You just have to go through that experience and jump from one moment to another, one experience to another, like a frog. Just jump.
Exactly.
That was the message he gave me. So I felt like we all have this consciousness level at all levels. Our bodies, depending upon our bodies, our bliss body is always on that level of consciousness, but we are not aware of that body or not aware of that state, because we have the habit of having this awareness level on the body self or the mind self. So we experience this state, but it's okay. Just raise our consciousness level to the higher levels, right, ma'am?
Yeah, wonderful.
Yes.
Thanks for adding.
Beautiful message for all of us, reminding all of us. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for helping
Bharti
me
ma'am,
learn. Yes, ma'am.
very, very beautiful session, and the way you took us through step by step, that is what I really like. I would like to add one thing to the people who asked the first few questions, in terms of who said we go through a lot of lower level emotions. We do meditation, and then while we do meditation, we get all the we are basically at a high state, and then once we drop and then we go back to our lives, we are back to that same status and things like that. So just wanted to add that meditation is like petrol. It will give us that energy, but then how we use that energy matters. So then Bharti ma'am said, that swadhyay and all of those things matters. One book that I found useful for let's say improving our own consciousness is Ask and It Is Given. It is by Abraham Hicks. It's a book, very beautiful book. It has a lot of detail about the consciousness states. So one thing I learned from that book is it's like, imagine you are a mountain climber, and you are, let's say, at shame or apathy and all of those lower level emotions. Now, if you are a mountain climber and you are now at the bottom of the hill, how do you basically go to the top of the hill? What do? They basically throw that hook, and then the hook will hold on to the rock on top somewhere. It will just hold on. So which is at the top level. Now they'll just pull and see, okay, yeah, it is hooked properly to the top of the mountain on some rock. Now they start taking the help of that, and then they start climbing. Correct? So like that, you should take something like, for example, gratitude, which is at, let's say, 540, 530 or 540 hertz or kilohertz, I don't remember. So you hold on to gratitude at, let's say, you're at very, very sad level. Now, technically, the book told me that I'll have to hold on to gratitude and then just go higher, like a mountain climber. So now you will have to bring in gratitude. For example, let's say you fought with your sister, and then you really can't bring in gratitude for your sister. Oh, my sister is there in my life. She's not really. So you, at that time, it's very difficult to think something about the sister itself. So what the book says is, the mind doesn't understand whether you have to talk about the sister in terms of gratitude, or whether it is your TV, or whether it is your fridge, or whether it is, let's say, meditation itself in your life. Just think about any topic and take the mind to gratitude. Okay, it doesn't matter which topic you think about, but just go to gratitude at some point in time. Like at that point, you have to just at least be in awareness that I have to go to that, I have to climb to that level. So once you are bringing in gratitude, for example, let's say you fought with your sister, but then you have to go to gratitude. So you look at your fridge and say, oh my God, this fridge is so great. It has been helping me hold on to all these fruits and vegetables that I've been having on a daily basis. Or you look at your breath and say that, oh, I'm still alive. Or you look at your children, and then you look at your office work, or whatever, or something beautiful that happened in your past, and you're just recollecting those memories. So either way, you just have to take yourself to gratitude, or take yourself to love, take yourself to something higher than what you are today. So then what will happen? It may take you to gratitude temporarily, but then it will at least raise your consciousness from shame to something closer to shame. Let's say if you're in, let's say, 10, you will probably go to 50. And then you'll stay at 50. Why? Because the frequency of 540 was so powerful that it actually pulled you from 20 to 50. Right? Like this, it is a practice. So as long as you continue to keep practicing and take the help of some other higher level emotion to push you to a higher level emotion, you will constantly keep traveling higher. Whether you are there when you'll go to gratitude, like absolutely live in gratitude kind of thing, might take time. But then you just cannot jump from -10 to +10 overnight. But then you still have to take the help of, like, for example, let's say there's a truck going. You've seen in India, there are so many auto drivers and all that. Or let's say there's an auto and then there's a cycle. The cycle will hold on to an auto and then he'll just go drag behind the auto. And in India, some of these things I think you've seen. So like this, you just have to hold on to something and just go forward, like a process. The universal laws are very, very simple, but then we make life very complex. But then when you follow these processes, the process will ensure that we go forward. But at that time, we definitely have to have the awareness to follow a process. And this book is very, very beautiful. Although it talks about manifestation and law of attraction and things like that, it will still give you a lot of idea about how to raise your consciousness like this. And then it has processes. It has a lot, about 16 to 20 processes to help you get from one state to the other state consciously. So I hope it is useful. Thank you.
Yeah, and one more thing, somebody is asking you to text that book, ma'am, Smita. Yeah, please kindly text them.
Yeah.
And the book I have used for reference, I have texted.
I have a PDF copy. I'll send it to Bharathi ma'am.
Yeah, that is good. That is good. But the thing is, yeah, it is better to give them now in the chat. So
yes,
okay.
I've already given.
Yeah.
So I'll see if I can also share the book on the group somewhere.
Yeah.
Or
sure.
if I don't know if I have, if you can make me a host, I can try to see if I can share while you are talking.
I think we are already going beyond time.
Okay, sorry. Okay then.
I
okay,
can't
I'll send
make
it to
you host,
Bharathi ma'am.
Sumanta. So okay, yeah. In this room, we can't make. You need to go back
No, that's
to
okay.
that
I think it's a
general
lot of
and
time.
then take a host and then come. So yeah, it's a little bit of hassle.
That's okay. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Thank you so much. That was very much useful. Awesome. Thank you. Yeah. And that's the thing, masters. We need to keep on accepting every moment by moment. And I myself grew up with the Gudakesha practice so much, because night time our subconscious mind is active, and to purify ourselves, like from this anger, fear, or whatever, guilt or whatever, we need it gives right perspective, and our right state of mind wherein we should be. When you practice that positive state of mind, staying in that high state of vibration throughout the night, that will carry you in the daytime. So when I concentrated myself on giving my 100% to the practice, I forgot most of my all lower qualities. So that's how, like, more and more awareness, and more this kind of Master Prabodh's teaching will help you. Like, constant smile on your face is one more, immediately it will get back to the present moment. And Divya Mangal Drishti and Brahmananda state in the heart will help us a lot. So thank you, masters. Thank you so much for your love. And keep sharing love, laughter in your families, in your neighborhood, and to the society. All yours, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for this wonderful session for all of us. It was so beautiful and so enlightening, and reminding us to be in the present state, to keep in the present state. So, dear friends, let
Yeah,
us
somebody
experiment
raised their
today.
hand. Somebody raised their hand. Lata Joshi.
Yes, ma'am. Lata, ma'am. Please unmute yourself and raise your question.
Oh, madam, no question.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Nice lecture. Very nice.
Thank
Very
you.
wonderful. Very wonderful session.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So friends, today let us experiment for the whole day, whether we can keep our smiles, whether we can relax our body all through this day. And let us see where our consciousness level was today. And keep sharing tomorrow. When you come, please share with Bharati ma'am. That will be wonderful. Thank you, all of you. Let us see tomorrow. Thank you. On behalf of GMP Wisdom, thank you so much. Thank you, Prabodh sir. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, madam. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice session. Very, very, very wonderful session. Really.